The government will in the near future consider repossessing farms. How many times have we heard that? In the near future, consider repossessing farms. That's in the Herald business and finance sector. We as the MDC find this ludicrous. This land reform program of ZANU-PF has been going on for nearly 20 years now. We find ourselves with a massive food crisis which hasn't been declared. Government are now threatening farmers. Farmers have been unable to access inputs due to the restricted availability and the escalating costs of them. And most of all, they have no indication what the price is going to be in a year where the prices are going to quadruple. So the farmers are left in a quandary. But the beneficiaries of the land reform is very simple. They had to be a top ZANU-PF person. And these relate mostly to civil servants. The civil servants, the top civil servants in this country have more than one farm, and going down to the run-of-the-mill civil servants who will have portions of farms. Now the issue here is this. You're working for government twice. One, you've been given land free of charge. And the second thing is you're working for government. How do you run a farm? A commercial farm has to be hands-on. The person has to live on the farm. The government has done nothing about multiple farm owners, which are all the hierarchy, including the executive. Right now, the crisis is so bad that the same minister in Parliament announced that they were relaxing the regulations, whatever regulations they are, to joint ventures. Joint ventures are very simple. Joint ventures are farmers who have failed, who now have to repay the bank and very worried about their urban houses being repossessed. So they get a farmer to come and farm. In normal and in most cases, these are farmers who were kicked off farms anyway. So now they're getting probably their third lifeline. Their first lifeline was as a civil servant. They were given a properly run commercial farm, free of charge. They've never paid for it. They inherited, inverted commas, the assets. They, in some cases, inherited a crop in the ground, and yet they've still failed. Most agricultural commercial farms now have huge ZESA bills. A large portion of the ZESA unpaid bills are rural farmers from the commercial sector. District councils are not getting paid by the old commercial farms. As a result, nothing is working. So the government are thinking about repossessing farms that are non-productive. Why were they given to people who couldn't farm? Don't forget, since the farms were given or allocated to these said people, they had the benefits of Baskoti, where they got inputs and assets given to them, particularly in the irrigation and tractor field. Then we went on to command agriculture, where they were given inputs and assets. We know the collection back by command agriculture is way below 30%. So basically that was free. How can you go bust when everything's free? Now we're in a situation where you've got to start trying to get this land productive, but the people there are all politically connected, so they don't want to move. Yet the commercial farmers that were left on the farms are still being invaded, and they're all politically motivated. How are we going to move this agricultural sector forward? The MDC are very clear. We want tradable title. We want land ownership on a long-term basis for the farmers, with the approval of the banking community, so that the title is tradable. The second thing is, we want the GMB and the marketing authorities all revamped so that either inputs going out or product coming in is competitive. We don't want the farmer to be squished at the end of the year after struggling through the whole year by a runaway exchange rate. Our third input is we're going to have pre-planting producer prices for all food crops. And that is going to be US dollar based, so that the farmer can do his budget and he doesn't have to worry about the exchange rate at the end of the year. That way we get production. We want to get people back onto the commercial farms, earning a wage with water, with electricity, and with a life. Rural communities, commercial farms in rural communities used to account for 10% of the health clinics and more than 10% of the schools at primary school level. These are basically all non-functional. So the issue spreads further than just thinking about it. You've got to do something. Unfortunately, the current malaise within ZANU-PF leaves the government with nothing other than headlines. They cannot act on anything. We as the MDC undertake to revamp the agricultural sector. The agricultural sector is 20% of the national budget. Therefore, it is the primary driver for the whole national budget. We as the MDC undertake to do that. Thank you for your time.